Hi all. For this quick Tech in 10, we are going to take a look at another tool that you may consider to use to send work home for your students that can be completed in an interactive fashion. We've already looked at a couple tools, for instance Google Slides with the markup tools and movable drag and drop features, as well as Google Draw, and a couple live worksheet different ways to do that, and PDF markup tools. And this is just one more tool you can use along these lines that requires no sign-in on the student's end, and it's quite easy to use and send home. When you go into your Google Drive account, click the little waffle menu up here and slide down until you see Jamboard. Now once you click on Jamboard, you'll be brought to a window that looks like this. For purposes of this, we're going to hit the plus button down here to create a new jam. Now Jamboard is very similar in a way to the function we're going to use it for, as you might do Google Slides or Google Draw, but again there's certain features in here that share both in Slides and Draw and that are different. It's all based on your preference, what you might be creating, but again the same way you send it home to students, and families just need an internet connection to access it. Just like in Slides or Draw, you can title and do test for this, and you'll see your canvas right here. Now we're going to look at just a couple of the tools in here that you'll most likely use. Like with anything, you can get into much more advanced things, but this is kind of wants you to get you right off the ground and running with this. First thing I like to do is set a background. Now your background can only be colors on here. You can't fix a background photo for a worksheet like you can in Slides, but we can just lay it on top of the canvas like we do in Draw. I like to use the blue background because it lets a worksheet pop out. Let's just take a look at some of the tools on here. Here's your markup tool, your pen with different options on here. Here's an eraser tool, a select tool, sticky note tool, and then an add image tool. And we'll get to the laser pointer and the select or the sticky note in a couple of minutes as well. So just like we did in Slides and in Draw, let's import a background worksheet onto our page, or just import the worksheet. Now, unlike Cami where you're working in PDFs, this is going to just work with photos. So I'm going to go to my photo tool. I'm going to select it from my computer. You could do a Google image search or something on your Google Drive or Photos as well. But I'm going to select it from my computer. I'm going to open it right into my Jamboard. Now when that worksheet opens up, I can expand it, make it larger, just like that. Now, if you were to send this file to a student using anybody with a link and edit, the student could simply come in here, take your pen tool, and fill in the answers just like that. So again, it's a very quick and easy way to have a worksheet completed using annotations. All right, but I'm going to show you a couple other nice features of Jamboard in here to make activities interactive. The sticky note feature right here is a really neat feature, because what you could do is have your worksheet on this side of the page and then add some sticky notes on the other side of the page. I like to do no background for this, and I'm going to put some letters in here that you might use in this activity. You'll notice they save to my page like that. Well, I can move these all over here and they become now movable objects on the page as well. So when I shared this activity in edit mode again, the student has the option, or you have the option to create the activity, to do the pen tool, or simply just slide these letters over to complete the activity. Now these could be numbers, these could be answers or choices to a multiple choice, these could be your unique learning worksheets with your picture answers or word answers. I think anything you do in Slides with your drag and drop activities, or Google Draw with your drag and drop activities, you could do in here just as easily. I also want to go quickly to, let's move these out of the way. just as a reminder, you could also import the choices of images onto your page by doing the screenshot. So if I did Command-Shift-4 and took each of these, oops, I missed that one. Do that again. I could import all these images also, and just so you make it from a static to an interactive worksheet. Now that screenshot's on my page. I go to my uploads, find it. I can open that and add that to the page as well. So there's just multiple different ways of getting content onto here to make interactive. Okay. Again, the pen tool, when you shared this, a student could just write. I can add notes, sticky notes. It's kind of a neat little workaround. I mean, I could use a background if I wanted to. Save that, resize it, and move it over to the side. And these become now movable in here. Or I could make all of these images by doing screenshots of them. Then the students can drag the answers right over just like they would in slides. You could also import any images. So you could do any type of drag and drop activity in this, as long as you lay your foundation picture here, and then these will also overlay it, whatever you're doing on it can overlay right like that. Another nice thing about Jamboard is up here you'll notice slides. So you could share one file with up to, I think, 20 slides maybe, and just have sheet after sheet after sheet after sheet for individual students. Remember, you're making copies of your master file for students to work on and edit, because as they edit it, it's going to change the main file. So you want to definitely make copies. But you can do multiple pages in one file. So let's go to the second slide. I'm going to import another picture or image to work on, just to give you an idea. This is from a Boardmaker activity. I think was based on one of our curriculum stories. Again, this is from Boardmaker, I believe. Fruit and cracker pizza sequencing. Now, with this tool, Jamboard, I can do a number of things with this depending on what I want my students to do. If you were to do this on the Smartboard or in Boardmaker Online, these would all be movable pictures. You know, you'd put in sequence order. Okay. So I could easily take screenshots, Command-Shift-4, each of these pictures. Do a couple of them. Go to my images. And then I can import those images as movable objects now onto this activity. Move them off to the side, make them all smaller. Then the student would sequence them just like that. You know, that's one way you could do that for movable objects. You simply could tell the student, use your pens, one of your pens, and go on top of the actual pictures and put them in order. So 1 is wash your hands, 2 is place the crackers on the plate. So again, that's another way to do it. So you're using your pen tool here. Or you can use your sticky note feature. Let's go back to that. I think I'll use a color for this, but we might want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, another way to look at this, move these all to the side, shrink them down a little bit, and then this would be the activity the student works from. So then they go over here, 1, 2, 3. Again, you get the idea of just different ways to incorporate these tools into making an activity interactive. So again, same file, there's one activity, second activity. We looked at using the pen tool over here. We looked at the eraser and importing movable images using screenshots in order to do the activity. Let's go back to my first page also. So again, just to recap, any picture of a worksheet or any picture of an activity, it could be a picture of a Google slide. It could be a picture of a Google drawing that you put on as your base image. that goes in as an image. And then you can either add content using sticky notes, you can add content using screenshots, or add content using other images that you find as well, which then become drag and drop on the page. Now, when you share these files, you're doing it in the same way that you'll do a Google slide with Movable Drag and Drop or Google Draw. You're going to go to Share. You're going to change it to anyone with the link can edit, because you want them to be able to interact with it. So share, anybody with the link can edit. Okay, and here's the link that you can share to allow editing. Now I'm going to copy that, and I always go to an incognito window in Google Chrome to test it, because this is kind of like what the family or student would see unsigned into any Google account. I'm going to paste that in there. And then there's the activity. Student comes on, they're able to drag what you have on the page. They're able to move things around. They're able to go to the pen tool if that was your direction to them to fill in answers. Again, is it perfect? No. You can easily clear stuff, delete stuff, change stuff. However, that being said, you only need to provide a couple directions to families as to what to click on in order to complete the activity. And if something ever did happen, you can restore it to the original version, or you also, since you're making a copy to send to the student, you keep the original version as well. Positive as well, you get to see how they're interacting and what they're doing on the page. So remember to share it with edit mode. Once the activity is set, obviously this was worked on, I didn't send the original, but you get the idea. Go to incognito, test it. Now I want to go back here for a minute just to show you something. If I changed this to view only, let's save that. I go back to my incognito window. Now they can't do anything to this page. So it's very important that when you share it, you want to share it with anybody with the link can edit, because that will allow them to interact with the activity. Now, one final feature on here that I wanted to show you. Say you were working with the student on their activity. So you both were on this document at the same time, which is another nice feature of any of the Google tools, slides, drawing, Jamboard, or if you were screen sharing within an individual therapy session or classroom. There's a really neat laser pointer here. So you could say to the student, focus here, look here, this is where I'm looking. Or you can highlight anywhere on the page as you're working on this together. So another nice feature in here, whether you're in a Google Meet screen sharing, whether you're just sharing the same document, working on it together over the computer or over the phone or over Google Meet, however you might be doing it, just another nice feature there as well. Google Jamboard, it's available in your Google Suite, similar to Slides and Draw for what we're working on. Just again, some likenesses, similarities, some differences based on your preference or based on the objective you have. Again, the benefits of it, you can send that link to anybody, can edit. You don't need to sign into anything. And once the student gets in there, easy to navigate and use based on your instructions. If you have any ideas or any questions, please let me know. Google Jamboard, a great tool to use, especially at this time. Hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.